So, in the last class, we were discussing about the climate and weather. It's a chapter number 6. Moving towards the next. Everybody should open the page number 68. We are at the page number 68, continuing our lesson from that point. On the page number 68, the point is telling us that the sun gives off energy to the earth in the form of solar radiation. So the sun gave the energy to the earth. Yes, we know the heat energy is coming from the sun towards us. So sun gave the energy in the form of solar radiation. 55% of the radiation received by the earth and its atmosphere is reflected. So out of 100%, so if the solar radiation is of 100%, 55% of the radiation received by the earth and its atmosphere is reflected. It means that they are returned, while the remaining 45% is absorbed by the earth. So out of 100% solar radiation, 55% are re- reflected, reversed, but the 45% are absorbed. The radiation that is absorbed is converted into heat. The earth absorbed the radiation. Ultimately, that radiation converted into the heat. The earth itself emits. The word emits means releasing. Like when we say exit means getting out. Exit means getting out. So emit means getting something out, releasing something. So earth itself emits heat. Earth itself release heat given off as a terrestrial radiation. The word terrestrial means the things which belongs to earth, the things which is related to the earth. Okay, so terrestrial uh, radiation, the radiation which is related to the earth, terrestrial radiation. So earth also release heat as a earth radiation. As when the sun gives us radiation, we call it a solar radiation. And when the earth release its heat, then then we call it a terrestrial radiation. The amount of heat gained from the solar radiation is about equal to the amount of heat lost through terrestrial radiation. So in this way, the heat which is absorbed by the sun is 45%. 55% is reversed. Okay. So earth also released the 45% heat from his body. Earth has a body. The earth is a body. It's an object. So earth release the heat from its body. The releasing percentage and the percentage which earth is taking from the sun is same. So in this way, the unique balance keeps the earth from getting progressively warmer or colder. So this balance will keep the earth in a average temperature so that people can survive. During the day, solar radiation exceeds terrestrial radiation. In the daytime, the radiation of sun is become more than the radiation of earth, and the earth's surface become warmer. So in the daytime, because sun is hot and the earth is not that much hot in comparison with sun, so in the daytime solar radiation is more hotter than the earth radiation. So in the daytime the earth become hot. At night no solar radiation is there. Why? Because there is no sun at night. So the surface of the earth is cools down because you didn't receive the solar radiation at that time. So heat become less because the heat is also releasing from the earth and the heat is also coming from the solar radiation. When they both meet in the daytime, so it will make much heat, but at the night time there is no sun, so only the heat coming out from the earth is there, so the temperature will be lessened. No, Abdul Rahman Ayman, solar radiation comes from the sun and earth radiation is coming out from the earth. Solar radiation in simple words. You can say solar radiation in simple words, it's a heat, it's a excessive heat. Radiation is, by the way, very dangerous for a human body. Okay? Because it has a nucleus, it has atoms in it, so it directly it's a dangerous one. Now, at night, yes, you are right, Abdul Rahman Ahmed. And night there is a less heat. Exactly, you are right. Okay, so moving forward, at night no solar radiation is there. It cools until an hour after sunrise. No solar radiation is there in night. The surface of Earth cools, and the surface of Earth cools until about an hour after the sunrise. So after a fajr, the weather is also looks good. Why? Because till now the radiation didn't warm up the earth, so the weather would normally the good at the time of fajr. Shortly after sunrise, solar radiation is received and the surface of the earth gradually becomes warmer, because the heat is coming from earth and now also coming from the sun, so it become hot. In some places, the day and the night temperature differences can be very big. In some areas, the day night temperature are very big. How? Sometimes there is a 10 degree centigrade or more difference. See the difference. In desert, for example, the daytime temperature would be like 40 degrees centigrade. But at night, it can be go to zero or less than zero. Why? Because of the balance. Because of the balance of the radiation. Okay, so there is some in some areas these differences are there. Unique means uncommon. Unique means uncommon, the things which are not common, the uncommon things. Common and unique, both words are opposite to each other. The things which we commonly find out, for example, we got the water, but if we needed some specific type of chemical, we cannot find it because it's unique and expensive. Okay, so meteorologist. Meteorologists are interested in two important temperatures. Meteorologists are interested in two important temperatures in a day, the highest temperature and the lowest temperature. So, highest temperatures means maximum temperature. So, meteorologists are want to check the two temperatures in a daytime, the highest one and the lowest one. The highest and the lowest temperature tell us the highest and the lowest temperature tell us how different temperature of a place can be in a day. If day temperature is 35 degrees centigrade and the night temperature is 10, the difference is 25. For such a place, you can say that the temperature varies a lot because there is a huge difference of 25 degrees centigrade. It's a huge difference. So you can say here the temperature varies a lot or the temperature changes a lot. Okay. So, if you see this picture, there is a picture given on the page number 68. Heat from the surface warms up the surrounding air. So, the sunlight warms up the air and sun rays are there. And the earth surface is heated up by the sun rays. There is a radiation releasing from the earth and sun rays are also there. So, by mixing them up, earth become more warmer. Earth become more warmer. Exactly. Abdul Rahman Ayman. When the temperature is high, it's not a high, it's a highest. The point which is the highest point, it's a maximum point. Means you cannot go beyond that. What is the maximum speed of a car you can run? There are depend on the make of the car. For example, 220, 200, 180 or 140. It depends on the make of the car. Every car have a maximum speed. You can't go more than the speed of the car because there is a maximum speed of every car. Okay, so we are moving towards the page number 69. On the page number 69, what we have, the, the page number 69 is saying that how temperature is measured. We use the thermometers to measure the temperature of a place. Thermometers are placed in a Stevenson screen to protect them from the direct heat of the sun. So if you see, there are two types of thermometer. One is This one that we are talking about, the net, the not the second one you see it's a digital one. You see it in the malls, you see it everywhere. The people are checking the temperature. You can check the temperature from it, but there is a chance of error in those digital temperature in comparison with those thermometers which we are using in this screen, because they will give the more accurate result. So we use thermometers to measure the temperature of a place. The thermometers are placed in a Stevenson screen to protect them from the direct heat of sun. This is a white wooden box with lowered sides. Okay, if you see there's a picture given, figure 6.7a, they are showing you the screen. They are showing you the screen. Yes, it's a thermometer. Temperature is measured by the screen. Sorry, by the thermometer. Temperature is measured by the thermometer. The Stevenson screen is always set above the ground, like in the figure 6.7b. So see, there is a screen. This is to stop the instrument for being affected by the heat that is radiated from the ground. So these boxes save the instrument being affected by the heat. It is usually placed in an open area. These thermometers are placed in a open area because these thermometers are used to check the temperature of an area, not a human or not an animal body. These thermometers are using to measure the temperature of a specific area. So it is placed in an open area, usually in the open field. Why? Why the open field is preferred to an area with an concrete surface? Because concrete surface get the heat, get the heat from the sun. It absorbs the heat from the sun. So the temperature would be different. But in the field, in the open field where there is no concrete, the trees are there, grass is there, they are placing it there, these thermometers, they will get the accurate or exact temperature of that thing. Now, if you see this picture, Steven screen is placed above the ground level in an open space. They are placing these screens, and these are used to place to find the temperature in the specific area. These screens are used to find the specific area, temperature of a specific area. Okay, now humidity. It's a water in the air. It's a water in the air. Humidity, where does all the water falls as rain? Okay. Marwan, can you read this one? Marwan, can you read this paragraph?
Yes, sir. Which? Okay. Where does all the water fall as rain or snow come from? Is the water from the clouds? To find out where the water is from, let us take a closer look at what is the air around us.
You can read.
The
Read.
air is like a sponge and can hold moisture in the form of water vapor. We can see rain, but we cannot see moisture in the air. This is because the moisture in the air is in called humidity.
Okay. So that's good, Marwan.
Sir, I mute.
Okay, that's good. So Marwan read that the where
Sir,
does
I mute.
okay, you're welcome. So where does the water comes from? The water from the cloud, or to find out where the water is from, so we are going to take the air is like a sponge. Did you see the sponge? If you didn't see the sponge, I am giving you this example of a sponge. Normally we can wash our dishes wash our utensils, wash our crockery with the sponge. So consider the air as a sponge. It can hold the moisture. Moisture means there is a wetness in the area. So in the sponge, there is a wetness. There is a moisture in the form of water vapors. So air is like a sponge. It can hold the water vapor. We can see the rain, but we cannot see the moisture in the air. When there is a rain, we will see there is a water everywhere. But when there is a moisture, we can't see it. We can't see it. It's there, but we can't see it. Okay? Because these are very tiny droplets. These are very tiny droplets. So the amount of water vapor in the air is called the humidity. The amount of water vapor is called the humidity. Okay. So now, Mohammad Ahmad Mazin, can you read it from here till here?
Okay, sir. The amount of water vapor the air can hold depends on its temperature. The, the higher the air temperature, the more water vapor it can hold, while the lower the air temperature, the lower the amount of water vapor it can hold. At a given temperature, the air can hold a maximum amount of water vapor. When the maximum amount is reached, the air is said to be settled.
Okay.
From figure
Yes, yes.
6.8, at 20 degrees centigrade, the air can hold a maximum of 18.2 grams of water vapor per cubic
Cubic meters of air.
meters of air.
Okay, that's good. So there is a space. There is a space like the bag. In your bag, you have a limit. In your bag, you have a limit. You can put 5 books, 6 books, but you can't put the 50 books in your bag. There is a limit. There is a limit for a space to store the water vapors. You can put the clothes in a bag, in a suitcase, but there is a limit. You can put 10, 20, but you cannot put the 100 clothes, 2000 clothes. Why? Because there is a limit. So in the same way, the air has a also limit. That limit of air, it depends on the temperature. For example, the amount of water vapor the air can hold, its the temperature. For example, the temperature is high, the more water vapor can be hold, while the lower the air temperature, the lower amount of water vapor can be hold. For example, when we are boiling the water, when we are boiling the water, there is a white smoke you see. That's a steam. That steam is basically made up of water vapor. Why? Why it is steam is showing? Because the heat is much under the bowl, the heat is much, and that heat is making the temperature high. And when the temperature is high, now the air holds the water vapor in greater quantity in the form of steam. But if you place that bowl outside in the sunlight, it will evaporate. The water will go upside, the water vapor will go upside in the sky, but the amount of holding the data, sorry, the amount of holding the water data is less. Why? Because the temperature is low. For example, if you boil the water, we put the water bowl on the burner, we switch on the burner, we are boiling the water. So after 10 minutes, all the water will go. Okay, but if we put that water outside in the sunlight, it will take much time. It will take 2 hours, 3 hours, or maybe one day. Why? Because on the burner the temperature is high, and in the sunlight the temperature is low. So when the air temperature is high, then the amount of water vapor becomes more, and if the air temperature is lower, then the amount of water vapor will be less. So there is a maximum capacity for the air to hold the water vapor. For example, at the 20 degree centigrade, the air can hold maximum 18.2 grams of water vapor. Water vapors are formed because of evaporation. Evaporation occurs in the two ways, okay? The natural way and by the boiling way. In the both cases, evaporation occurs. You can do the evaporation by boiling or by the normal process, but ultimately water vapors will form in both of them. Water vapors will form in both of them, and these water vapors stored in the air. This is called the humidity. So there is a table, there is a chart given at the end of this. It's a 6.8. In this, they are telling us about the temperature. For example, somewhere we have a temperature of 2 degrees centigrade. So it can hold up to 6 gram of water per cubic meter. For example, we have 28 degrees centigrade. So it means that we are having 25 gram of water per cubic meter of air. So it depends on the temperature. We can find our temperature or find the water molecules in the air with the help of this equation, with the help of this idea. We just need a temperature. So we can find it out. Now, we are moving towards the page number 70. Ayan, can you read this paragraph?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The air is not always sir,
Saturated. Saturated.
sir,
Saturated.
saturated,
Sometimes.
saturated. Sometimes, sometimes the water vapor it holds is below the maximum that it can hold at a given temperature. The actual amount of water vapor in the air is called the relative humidity. When we say that the relative humidity is 50% at 16 degrees Celsius, we mean that the air contains only half of what it can hold at the temperature. If the relative humidity at the temperature is 100%, the air is
Saturated.
saturated. When this saturated, when this happens, the air is said to have reached its
Saturation point.
saturation point.
Saturation point.
Sir,
Okay, that's good, Ayan. Okay.
saturation point.
Okay, that's good. So Ayan, read that the air is not always saturated. The word saturated means the capacity, the power of storing a water vapor, the power of storing a water vapor. So air doesn't always have a power to store the water vapors. Sometimes water vapor it holds is below the maximum so that it can hold at a given temperature. The actual amount of water vapor in the air is called the relative humidity. So there is a limit. There is a limit, as I told you. But sometimes air does not hold the water vapor. So there is an actual amount of water vapor in the air. It is called the relative humidity. When we say the relative humidity is 50% at 16 degrees centigrade, we means that air contains only half of what it can hold as the temperature. So it is holding the half data, half power. They are using their full power, but they are holding just the half area. For example, someone has a capacity to keep the 20 books in the bag, but that student only is keeping 10 books. So only getting the half data, half power, and not using the other one because the relative humidity because the relative humidity is half. So if the humidity is less, then air loses its power to hold the water vapor, because if the relative humidity is less, then the power of storing the water vapor in the air become less. It loses, air loses the power to store the water. If relative humidity is high, then they can store the much water. So it depends. For example, the relative humidity at that temperature is 100%. The air is saturated. When the relative humidity at that temperature is 100%, the air has a full power. If you see, there is a 100% relative humidity. The air has now with the full power and the full storage of the water vapor. When this happens, the air is said to have reached its saturation point, because when the humidity is increasing from the point, then there is a time for rain, because there is a limit for storing the water vapor. And when there is much water in the air, at some time it becomes the rain, because the rain is formed on the cloud. So this saturation is also take place at the top level, but water vapors are available everywhere. Now, Ayad, Ayad, can you read this one?
Yes, sir. Okay. Water becomes water vapor when evaporation takes place. Evaporation takes place when the sun's rays heat the surface of lakes, rivers, seas, and oceans. Water vapor is also released by plants through their leaves. This process is called transpiration. The water vapor is carried by the warm air and rises. Warm air is lighter than cool air, hence it rises uh, rises as the warm air rises. It begins to cool as the air cools. Its capacity
Okay,
to
that's good.
hold water.
That's good. That's good. Okay. Okay, that's good, Ayad. So Ayad read that water becomes water vapor. As I told you, it done because of the evaporation. Evaporation done in sea, okay, done in rivers, okay. So normally the evaporation is done with the general means. How? From the sun. Evaporation take place when the sun rays heat the surface of lakes, rivers, seas, and oceans. Water vapor is also released by the plants. So here is a new thing. If you see, the water is also going from plants. It's going from the lake. Yes, we know it. Lakes are there, rivers are there, seas are there, oceans are there. But water vapors are also coming from the plants. How? Because plants need water. So they are releasing the water vapors through their leaves. So the process, when our water from the lakes, rivers, and seas, when the water is going upside, means converting from liquid to gas state. When the water is going toward liquid to gas state, we drink the water. It's a liquid state. And when the water is going upward in the sky, it's a gas state. So this is called the evaporation. But when the water is getting out from the leaves of plants, then we call it evaporation. No, we call it a transpiration. This process of releasing the water vapors from the plants, from the leaves, is just called the transpiration. Evaporation, the water is going from lake, river, seas, and ocean towards the sky. The water is going from the leaves of the trees or the plants. This process is called the transpiration. The water vapor is carried out by the warm air and rises. Okay, so the water vapor is carried by the warm air. If the temperature is warm, then water vapor can be carried easily. Why? As in the yesterday's class, I told you why we are putting up the AC at the top of the height of room. Why? Because the warm air is lighter than cool air. Hence, it rises. So, the warm air is lighter, it's light, and cool air is heavy. So, when we switch on the AC in our room, so the AC is doing a cooling, it releasing the cool air, and that air is heavy. The hotness in the room is warm. So cool air is taking a place instead of hot air, and hot air is light. So hot air is moving outside from the room. So in this way, that's why we are putting the AC at the top height. In the same way, in the warm air catches the water vapors and take them upside from the sky. Now we are there. Ashal, can you read this one, Ashal?
Yes, sir.
Can you read this one?
As the warm air rises, it begin
It begins to
it
cool.
it begins to cool. As the air cools, its capacity to hold water vapor falls. Although the amount of water vapor it holds remains unchanged, its capacity has dropped. It can no longer hold all the water vapor. The water vapor condenses to form water
Water
droplets.
droplets.
Are very small. These water droplets are very small and they remain suspended in the air. When billions of these water droplets combine, bigger droplets are formed. These droplets combine to form clouds. When the droplets are heavy enough, they fall as so what it
Precipitation.
is
It's
Precip-
precipitation.
precipitation. Precipitation can be in the form of rain, snow, or hail.
Okay, that's good. So, if you see this one, I shall read that thing. As we discussed that the warm air took the water vapor, and warm air is light and the cool air is low or heavy. So, cold air take places the warm air and the warm air rises with the water vapor. Where this warm air is taking, this warm air is taking the water vapors towards the sky. And when it goes at the high position, that warm air begins to cool. Okay, so as the air cools, the capacity, the power to hold the water vapor become less. When the air become cool, the power of storing the water vapor become less. Although the amount of water vapor will be changed, but the capacity storing power is become less of that air because air is converting from hot to cold. Okay, so it not, and when the air become cool down at the height, that warm air become cool down, then it not longer hold all the water vapor. So ultimately they are releasing the water vapor. In this way, they release the water and that water vapor condenses to form the droplets. They are release those water vapors. They doesn't have a power. And ultimately, when they release those water vapors, they are condenses to form the droplets because in the warm air, there is a water vapor in the form of steam, in the form of gas. And when they cannot store it, the capacity is full or there is no capacity, then they condenses to form the droplet again. They are condenses to droplet, make it droplet again. The water droplets are very small and they suspend in the air. They stay in the air. When many of these droplets combine, the big drops of water are formed. These droplets made the clouds. For example, if we go near to the mirror and take a deep breath near the mirror, what happened? We see a moisture on the screen of a mirror. Why do we see that moisture? Because there is no water. There is no water in our mouth. There is no water in the air. There is no water on the mirror. Then where that droplets are coming? Because the breath we are taking out from our body is basically a gas. It's a gas. Okay, it contains the water molecules. But when the breath coming inside from our body, it's warm, but when it is getting out, the surface of the mirror is cool down. The mirror is not hot. So when our breath touches the cold surface, so our hot breath converts into the water droplets because the power of our hot breath is loses its capacity to hold down the water droplets. And when that our hot breath touches the face of mirror, so ultimately it's converted into the water droplets. That's why we see the small water droplets on the mirror. We will discuss this example in the next class also because the time of the period is finished. We will meet in the next class inshallah. So bye.